Hi class, I hope all of you guys had a great Thanksgiving break, and I just wanted to let you guys know that we're going to try something a little bit different today called a flipped classroom. I'm going to be teaching you guys the lesson on the board, and then when you guys come to my class tomorrow, I will give you guys the homework and I will help you with anything that you need. Today we're going to go over a grammar lesson, and our grammar lesson is going to be all about comma splices and run-ons. So first we're going to talk about comma splices, and do any of you guys know what a comma splice is? I'm going to let you think about that for a few seconds. Okay, a comma splice is two sentences joined with only a comma. This can be something that is two full sentences, a subordinate clause, main clause. Ideally, it is just improper grammar, and we're going to talk about fixing that today. So an example of a comma splice is, I saw a lot of those when I was grading your guys' last papers. So an example of a comma splice would be this sentence right here. It says, I ran to class, I puked my guts out. And you see there's a comma in here with in between two full sentences. When you guys are taking your test on this, you could also write the definition of a comma splice like this. Sentence, comma, sentence. Because that's essentially what a comma splice is, right? All right, moving on. So as I said, comma splices are two sentences joined with only a comma. This can cause sentences to be lengthy and sentences that do not really work. So this is a comma splice because there are two full sentences. I ran to class. That is one sentence. I puked my guts out. That is one sentence. Therefore, we know that we do not need this comma. Next today, class, we're going to talk about run-on sentences. Run-on sentences are two sentences with nothing in between. Like I said earlier on your guys' test that I will give you, you could write the definition of a run-on sentence like this. Sentence. Because essentially a run-on sentence are two complete sentences that don't have anything in between them. For example, punctuation or comma. So an example of a run-on sentence would be this. The wind was cold, they decided not to walk. As we can see, these are two complete sentences. The wind was cold. We all know that that is a complete sentence. And they decided not to walk is also complete sentences. Do we know why it's a complete sentence? The reason why these are both two complete sentences is because they're not subordinate clause. It doesn't leave you hanging. It has a subject and a predicate. All right, now that we have identified what a comma splice is and what a run-on sentence is, I will talk about how we can fix these. Before we go on, just a little review. Remember that a comma splice is two sentences joined with only a comma, and a run-on sentence is two sentences with nothing in between. All right, class, now that we are familiarized with comma splices and run-on sentences, now let's move over here and talk about 4 ways to fix a comma splice and a run-on sentence. Okay, class. 4 ways we can fix a comma splice and a run-on sentence. The first way we can fix this is by using a period. The example I gave you all in the comma splice example was the sentence this. I ran to class, I puked my guts out. Since we know that these two sentences are full sentences, all we have to do is put a period. And this is what I saw you guys doing in a lot of your papers that I had to correct. Just put a period if you know that there are two full sentences. And really just make sure you read and revise your papers. Just to know that, hey, I have a comma splice or run-on sentence because in your guys' next paper, I will really be looking for these and taking off points from them. All right. The next way that we can fix a comma splice in a run-on sentence is by using a semicolon. Now, does anyone know when we really use a semicolon? No? Okay. Well, we use a semicolon when we can make a statement, an explanation, or we are listing something, okay? For example, so we have right here, as you know, these are two complete sentences again. So we're making an explanation. I ran to class, I puked my guts out. Therefore, I puked my guts out is the result of you running to class. Therefore, it is completely acceptable to put a semicolon. Our third way that we can fix a comma splice in a run-on sentence is to join the sentence with a comma plus fanboys. Does anybody know what fanboys stand for? No? Okay, fanboys. The S stands for and, nor, but, and or. Okay? And, but, for, and or, guys. So for example, our big sentence that we had, I ran to class, I puked my guts out. I decided to use that with the S. I forgot to mention the S. So here's what my sentence sounds like. I ran to class, comma, you always want to put a comma right before your fanboys. So we have I ran to class, comma, so I puked my guts out. That is completely acceptable. Finally, the last way that we can fix a comma splice in run-on sentence is to make one subordinate. I talked about this earlier, and what is a subordinate clause and a main clause? Does anyone know? Okay, well, a subordinate clause is this statement right here, because I ran to class. If you tried to put that by itself as one sentence, it would not make sense. It is not a complete sentence because it just has your subject. Because I ran to class. I want you to give me more. Tell me what happened as a result of you running to class. I saw a lot of subordinate clauses in your guys' papers, and also your subordinate clauses need to be made with a comma. Okay? So, how we can make one subordinate? Like I just said, because I ran to class, comma, I puked my guts out. That would also be completely acceptable. All right, class, I hope you guys got a lot out of this video. I'm just going to review the 4 ways to fix a comma splice and run-on sentence one more time. And they are to use a period, use a semicolon, join with a comma and fanboys, and you can make one sentence subordinate. Tomorrow in class, we will be doing a worksheet on comma splices and run-on sentences, and I hope that you all got a lot out of this video, and I will see you in class tomorrow.